Welcome to our podcast. All opinions expressed on this show are those of the individuals on the show and do not reflect the views of any other organizations. We own most of the rights to all of the music and interviews on this podcast under ASCAP. All rights belong to Earlymorningmob, LLC, and the respective owner. We do not, however, own most of the clips used on this podcast and is for fair use educational purposes. All rights belong to the respective owners, which credit will be given. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and for artist and brand promotion and should not be taken as professional advice. Welcome to the Mobcast.
3, 2, 1.
In the mix.
They're having trouble hitting the ball. It's being watched so quick.
Golden, yeah.
I am one handgun banging the air, son. Rattle your eardrum. Everyone listen.
Just have a lot more fun. Thanks for listening.
What is your profession?
Early morning mob. Mob. Yeah. Capo fettuccine, I'm in the streets, yeah, Rocky Roll, ZD bowls and garlic rolls, whip it how I whip it.
Early morning mob. Like it, pack, drop it. Early morning mob.
People want to send blankets and water. Just send your cash.
I've checked it out a couple of times, and I would recommend all our friends and fans do give them a listen.
always been
They do such
celebrated
great
for
work,
its
and I'm really
excellence.
proud and again grateful to be able to be a part of the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another Mobcast. Today's episode, we got a fantastic lineup of music for you featuring some of the hottest local bands, music, and our music from Early Morning Mob. Just snippets, if you will, mostly from our live performances. And in this scene, we'll be sitting down with Justus Michaels for a great interview, who'll be sharing his insights and stories about their journey into music. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover some amazing music and some great interviews. As we take you on a journey through this vibrant and diverse world of local music and the Early Morning Mob brand. Let's get ready for another Mobcast, y'all. Today's dailies are brought to you from this show right here, the Mobcast, because we need your likes, comments, shares, and downloads to triple flate, if you will. So today's dailies are brought to you from the Mobcast. Today's quote: "Success is not a failure. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Winston Churchill. Today's affirmation: "I am capable of achieving my goals and I am worthy of success." Today's music tip: one of the most important things for any musician is to practice regularly. However, it is not just about putting in the hours, it's about practicing effectively. Here are some tips to help you practice. Set specific goals before you start practicing. Decide on a specific goal or set goals that you want to achieve. This could be anything from mastering a particular piece of music or to improving your technique on a specific instrument. 2, break it down. If you're working on a particular difficult piece of music, it'd be helpful to break it down into smaller sections and focus one section at a time, trying to knock down the harder parts. We've actually used that one before. Use a metronome. We've used that one before. When you recording yourself while you practice could be a helpful way to identify areas that you need to improve. Listen back to the recording and take notes. So yeah, that one's pretty important because we record ourselves a lot, but sometimes it's recording for practice, sitting on it, letting it marinate a little bit, and then coming back with a polished product, if you will. So that was today's dailies, brought to you by the Mobcast. Quote, affirmation, daily music tip. Let's get those likes, comments, shares, and download. You're listening to the Mobcast. So let's get it in with about, it's a little longer in my conjecture, if you will, once again. Let's get it in with today's musical breakdown. This one comes from the beautiful and talented, the music attorney. She's a singer. She's also an entertainment lawyer. So the things that she's going to say are very important. And I think she has a lot of great streams, but this one I think is great. These mistakes will destroy your LLC. Attorney explains, and that's an entertainment lawyer as well. So let's get it in. Break it
Before
down,
you start
Boo-Boo.
an LLC, and even after you start the LLC. Number 3, you never get an operating agreement. When we say, what's the contract for the company? Who runs the company? If you have partners, who gets to make decisions? Who's getting distributions? Who's getting paid from the entity? All those things come up. And if you don't have an actual written contract, then what you have is a verbal agreement. If you have a verbal agreement, then a lot of problems can happen. So it's very important that you get an operating agreement into place, including if it's just you. So if you get your contract for the company into place before anyone else ever joins you or becomes partners, then you've already set the rules for the company into place. So it's really good to do it, and it is required in some states. It depends on where you live, but some states do require that you
Let me backtrack a little bit. So most of these are music tips for artists. This one's kind of for somebody who's trying to make more of a business out of it. So let's continue.
Have an operating agreement with your LLC. So either way, please make sure, get an operating agreement and do it right away. Now, let's talk about your good standing. So after you file and you set up the LLC and you're rocking and you're rolling and you're making your millions, that's great. You have your business bank account, you're filing your taxes, you're filling in the tax forms,
somebody's
right?
making
I'm so proud of you. Well, let's talk about what happens if you default on the LLC. How do you maintain the LLC's good standing, which is what it's typically called? Well, the answer is it depends on where you live. So in some states, like for example in California, they want you to pay some money every year just for having the LLC. So you want to make sure you know what is specific to your particular state. So there might be fees, there might be some kind of annual report that you need to file. And some states are great. Like for example, the state of Arizona, you don't have to file anything annually. So after you register and you get set up, you just kind of exist in perpetuity until you decide to close down shop. So just make sure you know if there's any kind of special requirements in your particular state, because what happens if you don't pay a fee, you don't file an annual report, then sometimes the state can essentially just shut you down, or they will ding you.
You don't pay, you can't play.
So if you've gone through the effort to set up your LLC and get the bank account and get your operating agreement and do all the things, make sure you are, in fact, staying on top of it every year if that is required in your state. And then when it comes to these critical mistakes of limited liability companies, please make sure that your statutory agent information is up to date. Each state is different, but typically you set up your company through the Secretary of State. All right, so through the Secretary of State, you will say, here's all the things, here's who owns it, and then here's the statutory agent. The statutory agent is the person or company that is designated to accept legal service if ever there are legal papers. So it's the publicly disclosed name and address of the person who's going to accept things like lawsuits, for example. So what can happen is that, if you're like, oh, I'll just do it, or I will use my mom's address, right? Because maybe you're living with mom. Early in the business, okay? And, you move. So you need to make sure you actually update the statutory agent information just to make sure that you're actually receiving important papers and lawsuits and all the things that could potentially be coming at you. So if you are looking for some help, including
good stuff
in setting up your LLC, including in getting an operating agreement, please make sure that you contact a law firm. I do this all day long. I'm happy to help you. But even if it's not me, please go to someone. Please get some help. My firm is Delgado Entertainment Law. Please like this video if you found it helpful.
Top music attorney. Let's go check her out on all socials. She's on all of them. And like I said, she does a lot of great live streams. And they're usually tailored more to the artist. But this one was tailored kind of to making it a business, which I think is kind of important. So again, music tip of the day. Let's go check out the music attorney. And let's also get her likes, comments, shares, and downloads up, but let's also increase ours. We need them more than ever. So let's keep continuing with the Mobcast. Another jet. How lucky are we here in the Mobcast land? Go. Okay. It's been an hour. Your love away. All right, I'm going to stop singing. This is the Mobcast. Early Morning Mob on all socials. Let's get those likes, comments, shares, and downloads up. So here's the answer to last week's musical riddle. And that's piano, everybody, because it can't open up locks. It takes up space in the room, but doesn't have any physical room inside of it. And while you can sit at the piano and play music, you can't actually go inside of it. There you go. Here's today's musical riddle. It's a little bit harder one. I am an instrument that's often plucked. I sound so sweet. It is often tucked into a song or a symphony grand. In a player's hand, I make music land. What is it? I'll tell you next week. All right, so I'm Carl. I know who you are from coming here a couple of times, but you want to tell everybody who you are?
I'm Justus Michaels. It's very nice to be here right now. Thanks, Carl, for sitting down with me, man. Awesome.
Anytime you are a very talented artist. I don't just throw that around either. I like your voice. You sing good and good range and stuff like that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You don't have to say if you don't want to, but is that your government name, or how did you come up with that name?
Oh, that's my first and my middle name. I have two middle names, but that's my first middle name, if that makes any sense.
Awesome. No, it does. No, it perfectly does. But that's I always ask that because it kind of gets into maybe the mindset how people pick their names. Sometimes it might be so mundane, or sometimes there's a hidden meaning.
Yeah,
you know. Are you from Connecticut?
Yeah.
Have you ever sang with a band before, or just a solo artist?
I used to be in like hardcore bands. That's like how I started was with hardcore music. Did a lot of screaming stuff. But I like.
Which is totally different to what you do now.
Yeah, totally different. I just kind of started doing solo stuff because I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And
then sometimes you got to wait for the band and all that.
Yeah.
How long have you been singing?
I've been singing since I can remember. I mean, it wasn't always like projecting it, but I remember being like in my bed as a kid, just kind of like
wanting to be an artist.
Yeah, just kind of like I don't know, like very lightly singing in my bed in the morning and shit like that.
Yeah. What are your musical influences?
I would say like Noah Gunderson, Jay Tillman, Anthony Green, stuff like that.
Are you working on any projects currently?
Yeah, I'm working on a new album. A lot of acoustic stuff, mostly acoustic stuff, with like full band arrangement.
Yep.
On a lot of those songs. So yeah, it's a new vibe because I was doing a lot of like pop punk stuff for a while.
Okay.
But I'm not really doing that right this second. I'm kind of gravitating in a different direction.
Towards the more of acoustic sound. And
yeah, it's my vibe, So.
Yeah. That's cool, and I think it's cool to change it up every now and then, So you're doing whatever you're doing more of the neo type of thing for a while, and now it's time to morph and switch.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you could work with one artist, I know it's hard to narrow it down to one. Who would it be?
I would probably have to say Anthony Green, man.
Okay.
He's really good. He's really talented. So one of my favorites. So
everybody got their own little quirky artist. If I was forced to only pick one, it would be the RZA from Wu-Tang. That's kind of why I got into music.
Okay, that's cool. Cool.
What's your creative process?
My creative process, like how I write a song?
Yes.
I have to be in like a mood a lot of the time, but sometimes it's just like I'll start with like some chords, and I'll feel out the lyrics as I go. I usually just start saying like random bullshit when I start writing, and that feeling comes out just naturally. Whatever the song is gonna be about, it'll come out after I sit there and kind of come up with the melody. So
once you got the melody, you kind of find the structure, the words maybe aren't there. You're getting more of the rhythm of it, and then you'll add the real words into it later.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you have any pre-show rituals to get you to go on stage? Some people aren't scared, some people are, and it's to kind of get the new artists maybe to give them a little insight. So a lot of people's was the liquid courage. Some the bear. Some people was yoga.
All right. Mine. I mean, as of late, I have this spray for my throat called Vocal Easy or whatever. I got it at Guitar Center.
Okay.
That's like my only pre-show ritual, other than like studying my lyrics, which I'm really bad at a lot of the time because I always procrastinate until the second before the show, and then I'm just like wing it, But,
like cramming for a test. Sometimes that was the best, actually.
Yeah.
I always found that to be the best. So what was that spray?
Vocal Easy.
Is it kind of like a honey or something for your throat?
Yeah. It has like honey and like different ingredients in it that really help with my throat at least. Because I deal with a lot of stuff in my throat. I have like something in my neck right now that I have to get taken out. So it helps.
Polyp? Do you have a polyp?
I don't know what it is. It's just like a growth in my
Okay.
So
I was, because I actually went to school for radio, and that was one of the things that they told you, what, polyps in your neck, and in your throat, and honey was supposed to cure that.
That's awesome.
How would you just say, what would describe your music best, a feeling?
Sad. Yeah, sad.
Same.
You know?
Somebody said that before. I go, yeah, well, I kind of gravitate towards, like, not maybe sad, but the more introspective, darker.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't even say sad. I guess I would say, like you said, introspective, because a lot of my stuff, especially as of late, is very deep, and reflecting on, like, spiritual stuff and me growing up and going through things. So that, yeah, I would definitely say that.
The songs where you're rhyming a lot and having a good, those are fun and everything, but I think the deeper ones are the ones that your fans are going to connect with, you know, like, so. You're working on anything? You said you're working on something new, correct?
Yeah, new album.
And how many projects do you have overall, if you had to say?
All the music I've recorded?
Yes.
I would say I have one EP, and I have a hell of a lot of singles out. So I'd probably say about like 10, 12 songs, something like that. But right now this album I'm working on is probably gonna be like 8, hopefully.
And that's all on Spotify, or?
Yeah, Spotify under Justus Michaels.
What's your, like, number one thing if you had to plug yourself to find you? Website or is it Spotify?
Yeah, look me up on Spotify. I'm on YouTube as well. You can find me anywhere as long as you look up Justus Michael. Nobody else has my name, so.
And that's good though. I say that playing around though, but like a lot of the older guys don't want to get their name, and then even on TikTok, even if you don't use it, get it, because there's people out there that'll get it. And now you have to be Justus Michaels or whatever your band name.
Yeah.
Number 4, number 5.
Yeah.
We kind of ended with a little bit more of lighthearted questions. Do you believe in aliens?
I do, actually. And I don't know how you couldn't, because the government said they're real, so I don't know, man.
They are saying a lot more than they have ever before.
Yeah.
Do you sing in the shower, and is that considered practice?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I think it's actually like almost a mini mic booth.
Yes, I would 100% agree with you. I love singing in the shower, even if it's just as a joke. Because a lot of time I'll just be saying random shit in the shower, but like, it's a good way to feel comfortable. You're not near anybody, you know.
You're isolated.
Yeah.
And the acoustics of, you know, the shower.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justus Michaels, for coming along.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Anytime. I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far, some of the interviews and music. Let's continue with some great music and music blends that you won't hear anywhere else. Let's get those likes, comments, shares, and downloads up. Let's keep rocking out on the Mobcast. That was a great interview by Justus Michaels. Now let's get it in with some Justus Michaels and Friends live on the Mobcast.
Shout out to me for forgetting my lyrics tonight. Good job, Justus Michael. Give myself a little pat on the shoulder. Alright, slow song. Remember the chorus of that Thank you guys for putting up with our loud noise tonight. That's really sweet of you. Very, very appreciated. got some shirts over there for like $5. They're not the coolest swag, but if you want some swag for $5, I would suggest buying some. Thank you. Yeah, this song is called Quake.
Thanks, Tweed Airport. Let that check go on. But I want to thank Justus Michaels. That's Justus Michaels, everybody. Great artist. That was a great little performance. I hope you liked the interview. So let's continue with the Mobcast as we almost wrap up yet another exciting show.
Yeah, yo, I'm trying to stay up, even though I'm down. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, even headed for the ground. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, even though I'm straight down. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, and I'm headed for the ground. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. Nigga, I design a rhyme straight out the mind, like a dime. Ooh, she shot, perfect rhyme. Right up my thoughts behind every line, like one line, like the lines used. They make you pick a fucking side, make you flip your paradigm. This thing's a hella dime, off the mind, very fine, red wine, very fine. I kiss it in, and I always start from behind. Now it's time to give it up. Trips coming, what up? And I can start from the top or the bottom side, cause I'ma never fucking stop. I'm far from the flop. Your shit sounded chop. You need to just stop. Like while I'm about to cop. Let it rock. I'm trying to stay up. Even though I'm down, I've been down. Zero fucks. How the fuck's it sound? Yeah, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, even though I've been down. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, headed for the ground. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up and down and flip a flow. I never stop in this thing, and not just gas, go. Bust the bobos. First it told me you can never stop if you really want to. I'm trying to stay up, even though I've been down. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, headed for the ground. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up, even though I've been down. Zero fucks, I love the way it sounds. I'm trying to stay up.
Just like that, we're casting musical spells on you now. We're out with another great Mobcast. Please, let's get those numbers up. Like, comment, share, download, and tell a friend of a friend. And just like that, we're out. Peace. Peace, aloha, revenderci, hasta la vista, hasta luego, ciao, sayonara's and good golden journeys, and God willing, we'll see you on the other side for a great Mobcast, everybody.